Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy Fantastic and this is my Necromantic NAF Arena setups guide. So, first of all, what is NAF? What is Arena? Well, I can tell you. On Blood Bowl 3, the Norsk Arena is the new mode with Season 7, where you make a NAF style team. What is NAF? NAF is tabletop tournaments. They are low TV, well, more than a starting team, right? But still low overall. So you get 1150 generally at minimum to spend, and you get generally at least 6 skills to allocate. So also they tier these events, so, to have some parity between the different factions. And on Blood Bowl 3 you've got to win 7 before you lose 2. But obviously this is what tabletop tournaments are about, right? In tabletop, you've got the big tournaments like Euro Bowl, World Cup, etc. They're all using some variation of this, and as did the World Championship. So you can see here, Necromantic Horror are tier 2. They get 1160k before skills, and they get 7 primary skills to allocate, 1 per player. So if we look at the team here, this is what I would pick almost all the time. Well, this is what I'd like to pick. So we've got 2 flesh golems, 2 wraiths, 2 wolves, 1 ghoul, and lots of linemen. So you've got options with everything here. And why do you want Necromantic? First of all, well, they get 4 guard players that are really annoying, right? They have stand firm, strength 4, and they have block, sidestep, foul appearance, strength 3. So they've got 4 super annoying players, and then they've got the wolves, 1 or 2 wolves that are incredible. They can claw things. They're super fast, frenzy. They can surf. They're great players. Ghouls are also great players. Now, what happens with, and this build's got 3 rerolls as well. So what happens with Necromantic is the build is dictated by how much money you get. Of course you would like to have 2 wolves and 2 ghouls. That would be the dream. And in Euro Bowl 2024 you could have enough money to have both ghouls. That's obviously good if you can get it. Unfortunately, with this kind of TV, you'd have to go down to 11 players if you wanted to have 2 wolves and 2 ghouls, which is, very, very thin. I prefer 2 wolves and 1 ghoul, because I don't think you're getting much from dropping a wolf down to a ghoul. We saw Diamond do that in the World Championships. He had 2 ghouls. He had a wrestle ghoul, a block ghoul, and 1 block wolf. Now, I think that is definitely doable if you have less money than this. I think it's a great kind of downgrade. But he only got an extra zombie. I don't think 13 players is that powerful. Though, with Arena going to overtime, unlike tabletop tournaments, there is certainly a justification for going 1 wolf. But I personally prefer the 2 wolves. I don't think there's much in it, so I may well do a run with 1 wolf as well. But I think the standard is definitely the 2 wolves, and I think the 1 wolf is a bit more skill intensive. And as far as skills gone, we've gone guard and we've gone block. That's going to be pretty much the theme in every NAF style build. And as I say, you could go a wolf, you could go a wrestle wolf. I've taken that before. It was okay. And you can also go a wrestle ghoul if you've got 2 ghouls. So yeah, I think they're a super strong team. They're like a bash team that denies 1-turn touchdowns, which is really great. You've got 4 players for denying 1-turn touchdowns. You've got claw, so you can high roll the bash matchups. You've got a lot of speed in 3 players. The weaknesses are that you've got, you rely thoroughly on these 3 or 4 players, depending on the package, that they get. And also, most of your players are AV 9+, right? So you're susceptible just to getting a bunch of removals and, struggling because of that. But anyway, I like this build, but yeah, I wouldn't object to 1 wolf and 2 ghouls and a 13th player, or maybe a Bloodwiser keg. There's things you can do with it. They've got a few options, but I think they want 2 wolves, usually. So, let's have a look at the formations. This is just a standard offensive setup, right? Maybe this would be a bit more against elves, right? Maybe against non-elves, you drop this back in case of a solid defense. Yeah, let's drop this back, actually. So you've got the zombies off to the sides, just holding space, stopping a blitz being dreadful, and you're setting up for wolf hits on the LOS, using your guard, using your block to do the other hits, So block for the other hits, guards to protect everything, and then your ghoul is back to pick up. Again, offensive setups very dependent on what the opponent does, what you're facing, length of drive. There's so many variables, but I only generally have one saved, and then I mean this is what I'm saving for the team, right, for the arena run. So I think you only need one saved, and I think this is a fine thing. You know, this is fine as your default offense, and then you tailor it depending on what happens. Now, defensively, I think the default kind of defense is this protect 3 defense. So we've got zombies on the LOS, we've got the wraiths and the flesh golems protecting each other with their guard, a rubbish zombie in the way, and then your wolves and your ghoul behind. So this is like very strong, right? The only player they can realistically blitz is the wraith, and then he's got sidestep and he's got foul appearance. So first of all, you've got to roll a 2+ to even blitz him. If you do get to blitz him and you don't power him, he sidesteps and you just give him more hits away, and it's really strong. You can also go with the flesh golems on the outside as well. Of course, flesh golems are knocked over 75% of the time, whereas wraiths are only knocked over 55% and also have the foul appearance roll. So I prefer this. It protects your 3 good players and also protects these guys a little bit as well. Then you can move it up. So this would be against versus teams with Frenzy, like Norse and Necromantic, stuff like that. Strength 3 Frenzy, Troll Slayer, Dwarves, you could do this. Now you're somewhat susceptible to a quick snap, so I wouldn't always do this. But this is pretty good for, you know, just making things very tricky for them. You could also maybe put the flesh golems on the line, tuck these in. You can do variations of things, but again, this is just what I'm saving for my setups. Now we've got the denial setup. This is denying the LOS versus like agility teams, Dark Elves, for example. You can have your Blodge Ghoul on the LOS, right? Flanked by guards, they just can't hit him. If they're a strength 3 team, they're just not knocking any of this down, so they're not even going to try and hit it, right? They're going to put a dodge player on the LOS, 2 other players unengaged, and they're going to dodge away from me because they can't even begin to fight this. You've got these guys are holding, so you've got your wolves have guards on either side of them, so they're protected. The wraith is hard to hit because he couldn't sidestep and everything, and really they're probably just going to have to blitz a zombie if they hit anything. So this is very good for denying agility teams the LOS hits, and then, you know, playing a proper drive after that. And then we've got the wide setup. So this is, you know, if you're facing like a 2-turn touchdown, or if you just, you know, if you just want to set up wider for whatever reason. Again, we have the wolves protected by the guards in each situation. If they can take down the LOS, they can come through here, so that's why you've got this kind of double screened. The wraiths can sidestep to the other side, so you can't really break through the wraiths. So it's quite a good defense. They're going to have to try and knock down a flesh golem and go around, which is not easy, right? Because they need 2 assists, so they've got to blitz from here and they've got to cancel out this. Like this is just a really strong defense for denying forward movement. And, you know, it's special because you've got the stand firm, you're not going to get surfed, and because you've got sidestep, you can kind of hold an extra square here. So this is quite good if you want to go wide, protecting against like a 2-turn or a 3-turn score. Pretty strong defense as far as that goes. And then if we score on turn 8, we just set up these 3 zombies to get punched if we're not concerned about a 1-turn touchdown. If we're concerned about the 1-turn touchdown and they don't have anything special, then you can just put your flesh golems and your sidestepper on the LOS, and then they're going to be really hard pressed to score a 1-turn. But most of the time, I'm not scared enough to do that, so I just put the zombies on and, you know, bench the ghoul in case of a vicious ref. If you are trying to stop a 1-turn touchdown, then again, sometimes you just want these 3 up on their own. Like if they've got a frenzy and a sidestepper here, they can still score with a frenzy, blitz and clever things. So, you know, you've got to be a little bit careful if you go for push denial. But, you know, if you know, for example, you could do this, then they haven't got the angle to get in with frenzy. So if they have frenzy, you can do something like this, and that makes it harder for them to fill in these sidestepping squares to push your sidestepper. Also, they could have Juggernaut to push your flesh golems. So there's things that could happen. So you've got to think about things against the 1-turn. But again, this is just, you know, these are my default ones. Most of the time, I'm not concerned about a 1-turn, so I'm just going to load this up. I think this is a good way of doing the setup guide, because you know these are the ones that I'm saving, so these are the ones that I'm using, and the ones that I want. So there you go. That's Necro. Really strong team. Wolves are brilliant. By going 2 wolves, you can really snowball, you know, super effectively. If you get a bit of luck early, you get up men, you get up more men, and you make everything plain sailing. The 1 wolf roster is very strong. Now we'll probably do a 1 wolf run as well, just for practicing with a 1 wolf build, because I do like that for the new Euroball 25 rules. I really like the 1 wolf build for that. They don't get as much money. No one gets as much money in that build, in that rule set. So we'll, you know, wolves, Necro with 1 wolf. See, this is the thing. It's a bit like Skaven. I just call gutter runners Skaven or rats or whatever, you know, like, because they're just gutter runners. With Skaven, the whole team is gutter runners. With Necro, it feels like the whole team is wolves, but it's not. You know, flesh golems and wraiths are super annoying. They're a wonderful team. Lots of positional things, you know, people denying hits and stuff. If you watch the World Cup with Diomed and Andy Devo, they're both incredible, you know, use them incredibly well. Incredible players. It's an incredible team if used right. So there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay fantastic.